Good morning, everybody. We're late because of Fitzy. It's Positive Tuesday today, February 14th, 2023. We have lots to discuss today, including Governor Evers' proposal to require courts essentially to order Ignition Interlock Devices for all OWI offenses. Fitzy, I really want to talk to you about this, including first-time offenders, by the way. We also probably going to talk about, Super Bowl halftime show, and I know you had something else that you wanted to talk about. But first, for Barron County is Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald. I'm Ben Dryden, and of course you're watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. With nearly 20 years of experience, this locally owned and operated business provides quality work both on the inside and on the outside of your home or business. Like Fitzy and I, they believe that it's the little things that make a big difference. So give them a call today. The number's right there on the screen, 715-520-2271. We are streaming this week's show via DrydenWire's Facebook page, YouTube channel, and on Twitter. What? So however you are watching, welcome, and thank you for joining us. Fitzy, good morning. How are you?
Sorry, that was me. I was late.
Yeah,
I was at another meeting, and then my camera wasn't here, and then I had to go find it in the building. And anyway, now we're all set. Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, what'd you get me?
It's in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I should have got you a heart-shaped cookie or something. Yeah, I should have got you something.
Yeah, whatever. Hey, so how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great. How was your week? You were off last week. And good morning, Amanda. Oh, I have a photo of Amanda here shortly. I wanted to put on this screen. And good morning, Sharon. Happy Valentine's Day to you as well. So you were off last week. You had hockey, right? Duh.
Hockey. Yeah.
All right. So tell us about hockey.
Oh, yeah. It was great. It was awesome. It was a pretty neat experience for Jace. We were in Pittsburgh. We played a tournament out there, and then he got to stay an extra 2 days and play an all-star tournament with some older people. He held his own against them, and hopefully we may need to do some PR work for him to get him a good offer from some teams. He got an offer from a Milwaukee team. It's still blurry. Lance, it's still blurry. Our IT director's watching today, so he's working on it as we speak.
Yeah, we'll get this fixed eventually. What do you mean an offer? What's going on?
Well, he
plays,
gets
so he's still in high school, but he plays for, what is it called, junior league?
It's a junior. He plays for the Madison Capitals U18 team, which is an offset of a junior team, and he wants to play junior hockey next year. So, but he wants to get up to the Null division, and hopefully he will. And his coach thinks, like Penguins hockey. We were in the Penguins arena, their practice arena. I watched Sidney Crosby play hockey practice.
Gosh.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. Literally the practice arena is in this Mary Lemieux Arena in Pittsburgh, and they were practicing. We were playing on one side, and they were playing on the other. So it was kind of neat.
So, that's surreal.
Yeah, it was really. They treated the kids really good. He played against some 19. He's 17, almost 18 years old. He played against all the way up to 21-year-olds, so he was playing some pretty big, big boy hockey.
So now he got a good morning, Gay Magnifici. Happy Valentine's Day to you as well, and Mike Shaver. I think he just means he's jealous that he's not on the show today. He's just jealous in general.
Right.
So you say he has an offer. So is that from like a college? Again, I don't understand how like the junior league hockey stuff works.
It's a junior team.
Okay, so I mean, he got an offer from someone, and so that sounds like he should just, take that. And what does that mean? He just gets paid to play hockey, or is it like a scholarship thing?
No, it's a pay to play in that league, in the NA3 league, it's a pay to play. You don't pay a lot, but you pay some, and then they subsidize some of the other expenses. So, it's a pretty neat experience. It's a lot to learn. But
we should have him on for a show. Join us for the last half of one of these shows. Because, the reality is you always start off with hockey, and obviously it's about Jace. So we should probably just have him on. Kind of like we've had like Rally on a couple of times.
Jace would be like, yep. Mm-hmm, yep.
That's fine. We'll do plenty of the talking. We don't need need anyone else. Yeah, so I had this last week. Oh, there's Mike. Oh, that's a good segue here. So speaking of Adam, Adam did a great job last week. I think Adam and Fitzy Show would be a hit. Yeah, man. Is there a ban button on here? Nope, I don't see a
Hey,
ban button on here.
let's play that Spooner Health commercial.
Oh, sure, there you go. Yeah, we'll do it right now.
Satisfaction surveys and in conversations with patients, they appreciate the fact that staff got to know them. Staff really took their preferences into account, and they just feel grateful that they are being cared for as a person.
To learn more about our services, visit spoonerhealth.com.
The preferences is little George Bush. Our preferences. Yeah, there you go. So, yes, speaking of Adam, last Thursday night, we missed you. Fitzy, I know you and Holly were invited. Adam Jarko and his wife, Barb, and then Drush and I, we go for like quarterly steak dinners. Or every quarter, every 3 months or so, we go out for a steak dinner somewhere else in North Wisconsin. We were in Rice Lake last Thursday. We invited you and Holly, but I know that you guys are busy. So that was really nice. And yeah, he was on the show last week, so total shout out for him filling in. That was great. Obviously, it's never the same without you, Fitzy, but yeah, thank you so much, Adam, for coming on. So obviously, Super Bowl. Yeah. Before we get into, because I do want to talk about Governor Everett's proposal regarding, what is it, Ignition Interlock Devices. But first, we have to, of course, it's topical Super Bowl. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do the Super Bowl, the game itself, and then the halftime show. Give me one word. How would you describe the Super Bowl, the game itself, using only one word?
Entertaining.
Oh, that's a good one. Entertaining. I was going to go with engaging. So essentially the same thing. Like it wasn't like a blowout at halftime. Obviously, there's a lot of questions going into halftime. Chiefs offense only scored 7 points. And then Mahomes' ankle, it's like, oh boy. But I was engaged throughout the whole thing. And that's, I think, a good game if you're engaged throughout the whole game. Like, you didn't want to turn it off.
Right. It was great. It was a good competitive game. I mean, I had the Eagles, you had the Chiefs. And, I don't know.
I'm sorry. What was that now? Who now? What was that? 2 weeks ago we did predictions? I said Chiefs, you had the Eagles, and I picked the over, and you picked the under for the total score of the game, which was over. Which, by the way, I saw you commented on our Facebook post about your prediction, and then I was like, that's not right, because your final score prediction was over. Like, you're contradicting yourself.
I'm not very good at betting. I've never said it.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so it looks like a lot of other people said it was a great game. Yeah. It really was. I mean, obviously, you're an Eagles fan now. But if you're just non-objectively looking at it, it was a good game. Give me one word, then, for the halftime show. How would you describe it?
Can you believe there was zero? I mean, there was 0 sacks. I mean,
from the Eagles, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just think I mean, only a couple punts. I mean, it was a good game. The halftime show, give me one word to describe. I thought it was good. I really liked the floating stages. I mean, I just thought that was impressive.
The production was great.
The production was great.
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with it. I think there should be more entertainers than one singer. The same person singing some different songs.
Sure.
Terry didn't like it.
Awful. All right. Renee said sucked. Okay.
But I think if there would have been a couple more singers, that's what, and maybe that hype, because we've had so many singers in last year's Super Bowl had so many stars in it, and having one person sing all of their songs, maybe they wanted more. I don't know.
Yeah.
What did you think?
One word is, can I use a hyphenated? 2 words hyphenated is one. I would say, and I'm getting older, so I think I'm more prudish now that I'm getting older. I would say over-sexualized. That's the word I would use. It was fun, the halftime show. I like Rihanna. I like her songs. A lot of them that we knew, so even the kids kind of knew. But we actually had a little, not an actual like money bet, but just an over-under with Drusha and Kenneth Raleigh and I before the halftime started. And the over-under was 1.5. Over or under 1.5 times, there's going to be something inappropriate during this halftime show. And we all bet the over. And there was. I mean, she's brilliant. She's a strong, independent, powerful, incredible voice. She's such a role model to a lot of people. And then I'm not a big fan of the grabbing yourself everywhere. Didn't like that. But that's just me. I'm getting older. Maybe it's because I'm a dad. But overall, I would say if I had to pick one word, I would say meh. It was fun. Yeah, it was okay.
Amanda put it, though, if you didn't like Rihanna, then you probably didn't like it. If you don't like her music, you didn't like it. So that's why I think you got to get some generational songs, artists.
I know.
Whatever.
And if it was a Rihanna concert,
Yeah.
fine. But we
But
got
only
grandmas
Rihanna
and grandpas and little kids watching this. I'm just saying, know your audience.
Right.
But I don't know. Maybe a better word would have been expected. Because they need controversy in the halftime show. Every year we talk about the halftime show and there's controversy. So I kind of feel like that's on purpose. But I don't know. Ooh, that's a good one. Let the fans pick the halftime show. Gay, unfamiliar with their music. Well, I saw that, Gay, Patty Shockner had commented when we had asked people, and she said that she loved it. So there you go, Gay. George Strait, good night. Oh, yeah, so here's another quick shout-out. Amanda, speaking of her, she sent a photo this morning. And Riley also had the same outfit on. And guess what outfit it is? What?
Oh.
So that's Amanda this morning, and that's my daughter Riley. She was wearing that to school today.
Sweet.
Yeah, I know. And I even got mine on. You never wear yours, apparently.
I'm wearing pink today for Valentine's Day.
All right. Feels like we do this every year, Valentine's. Man, they should every 2 years. That's what they should do. All right, so we don't have any press releases or articles. We did from 2 weeks ago, but it's kind of outdated now. But I actually sent you must have been busy this morning. I sent you a booking photos request for 2 people. So I couldn't put it up before this morning. There'll be an insider story on DrydenWire.com today, and it's regarding Barron County, so we'll have to talk about it next week. But here's the headline. The headline's already finished. Man and woman charged with running drug house for teens in Barron County. So
I don't know that there's going to be a photo because I don't know that they were brought to jail, but I don't know the answer to that. They might be just charged. So
okay.
But I'll have to look into that.
Well, either way, we'll have the story up with or without booking photos, but we'll have that one.
It is a concern. I don't know a lot about the case itself. One was in Cumberland and one was in Barron, I think, but I did talk to Jess about that. It is concerning. It's adults allowing kids to drink and smoke and harbor juvenile runaways and things like that. So we're going to probably kick off Parents Who Host Lose the Most. Again, that has been, kind of our forefront for underage drinking. And I think we just need to raise some awareness that you just can't let kids do whatever you want in your house. And these 2 cases highlight that. And we think there's a little bit more of this going on. So it is something we're aware of, monitoring, and we will charge the district attorney, human services. We'll look at that. If you look at Cumberland PD yesterday, had a runaway, was harbored by another runaway. We had a child porn case last week that we didn't do a press release on, but the subject was charged in Barron County. I did share another news story on our Facebook page about that. So there's been a few things going on, nothing major, but a few little things going on, and we need to. It's something we're aware of. We're watching very closely, and we talked a lot about when we did our stats, internet crimes against children. I think we're at 7 cases already. Now, some of those are juveniles sharing photos of other juveniles in our high schools. Our school liaisons are very familiar with that. In fact, tomorrow is School Liaison Officer Day. You'll see a picture of all 3 of our school liaison officers in tomorrow, thanking them for their service and recognizing them at School Resource Officer Day. But we have some more cases going on in our high schools with kids sharing photos of other kids. Photos
of other kids. How do we get the photos of those kids?
Well, and I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if it's local kids, if it's internet kids, I don't know, but you can't show pictures of underage people on your phone. You can't share that. That is where the Internet Crimes Against Children comes into play. There's some weird apps out there. Kick something.
Yeah.
Kick. Maybe let's just go Kick.
It is KIK. Yep.
It's a sharing app, and if your kids have that on their phone, you don't want it. Get it off your phone. You don't need it. There's your tip of the day. But that is an app that we're working with and trying to stop. But that's where a lot of these child porn cases are getting from.
But who would you, whatever. It's just so different. Again, I'm getting old. I can't imagine. Why would I even want to look at any of those underage kids, even if I was that young of age? I don't know.
I think I don't know.
I wonder if it's more of like a shock value kind of a thing, which is still inappropriate and wrong, but yeah, I don't know. Gross.
I don't know. Or if it's a power thing, or I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Well, when you figure it out, let us know.
We'll probably never understand that. If we could understand that, we could fix the problem. So I don't think we're going to fix it.
And speaking of school liaison officers, we have, I think, coming up in March. Shoot, now I can't remember who it was. Either Stacia or Stacia. I don't know how you say her first name. Cross. She is going to be on with two other people. I think the Rice Lake. Does Rice Lake Police Department have a school liaison officer?
Rice Lake does, yes.
Yeah, so whoever that is, I think will be on, and then maybe somebody else. So I think we'll have like three people on for a show, not on one of these shows. It's going to be on a Thursday. I think it's like the first Thursday in March. I don't know that much about it yet, so I can't wait to learn more about school liaison stuff. I know you used to be a school liaison. That's kind of your home.
That's right. Yeah, it was the coolest job besides this one has been a school liaison officer.
Wow. Well, this is where we're supposed to show the Spooner Health commercial, but we've already done that.
Well, let's show it again.
Okay, fine. We'll be back in 15 seconds after we're from Spooner Health and Mike Schaefer.
In our patient satisfaction surveys and in conversations with patients, they appreciate the fact that staff got to know them. Staff really took their preferences into account, and they just feel grateful that they are being cared for as a person.
To learn more about our services, visit SpoonerHealth.com.
Dad.
Hang on. Lance I want to disconnect your net motion. It might kick you out of the show.
It'll kick me out of the show?
No, me.
That's going to be difficult because I'm running it.
So you might lose me for a second and I'll have to sign back in, but he's going to try something he's going to disconnect something else to see if he can do it. All right. So, he's doing it. I can see him on.
Nope. And there you go. Nice one, Dad. You can stop saying don't come on as a guest, Dad. We already get enough trouble as it is. I think you'd be in a lot more trouble if you came on. Hey, there you go.
See? That was easy.
Yeah, it was. Hopefully that solved something, so now you're not blurry anymore?
He's going to try it. He's trying some different things today. Lance, our IT director, is
awesome.
working on it. Lance is awesome.
Yeah.
So.
All right, cool. So let's get to we have one main topic I want to talk about, and I also wrote down Fitzy topic I actually put on the agenda. Can't remember what it was. So you had mentioned something to me last week when we were talking offline about something. You're like, and I want to make sure I bring that up on the show on Tuesday, and I can't remember what it was. So do you want to do that one first?
No, because I can't remember. It was something, though. It was like, I want to talk about that on the show.
It was something about, it wasn't like a property or a line or a fence, or it was something along those lines, and they asked, wait, no. Oh, yes. Hold on, I'm picturing it in my mind's eye. It was about... Yeah, it was about they're going to vote for somebody else because you can't do something, and you're like, but it's not against the law, so I can't arrest someone for not breaking a law. But I can't remember what.
Tell me they weren't going to vote for me next time, and I'm like, because I wouldn't come to her house and stop a trespasser from coming on their property, and had nothing to do with the trespasser. It was a civil agreement she had with the neighbor that allowed him to do some things on her property, and it was a 2-year agreement. The 2 years expired. But it's civil because he's had permission. He has some of his own property on her property. And if she wants that removed, she needs to get a court order, and then we would enforce the court order. But she basically said, come over and do this, or I'm not going to vote for you. And I said, well, I can't make decisions based on that. And I'm sorry. And I tried to explain it, and I think she understood. But, we always think, well, I'm not going to vote for you. But I can't do anything where I don't have the power to do it. So, and I know trespassing is a very touchy issue. Yeah. And emotions that go with that, and I apologize to her, and I did everything I possibly can, but we just can't come and make people leave your property when you gave them permission to be there and build something. So, but yeah, that's what it was.
That's right. But by the way, whoever she votes for next time, if somebody runs, they wouldn't be able to either, right?
Right, exactly.
Nobody's breaking the law here, so we can't just arrest people for no reason. I mean,
I can't just go and flex and say I'm the sheriff and do what I say. It caught me at a moment, and I just think, as you get doing this and you get older and you get frustrated with things that you type, and we talked about the internet crimes against children, and we just don't understand. There's just some things you can't do, and I know there's people that say, well, you don't do anything anyway, and then you get all these, the lovers and haters of being an elected official, and that's. We've talked a lot about that over the years on this show, and that's what makes it fun, and that's what I like, having fun, and that's what makes it the transparency of this show, is we talk about what happens to me on a daily basis, or you on a daily basis, and we get to touch and feel some of the the things of being an elected official or running a
being
business.
in the public eye.
Yeah.
It's because it's not just the sheriff or a founder of a media outlet. There's a lot of people. You're in the public eye. Yeah, the spotlight's on you, for better or worse. The spotlight's on you, and there's some goods and there's certainly some bads to that, but the goods certainly outweigh the bads.
Oh, 100%. And it's just an outlet for me to, you become an outlet for me and I'm an outlet for you. And sometimes we talk on stuff on this show that we shouldn't talk about probably, and it gets us in trouble when we talk about dolphins. And so
I lost my dolphin sound. How far must no trespassing signs be from the road? There's a question from Renee.
Why
You're the sheriff. You wouldn't know that.
Yeah, exactly. Why don't you ask a cop?
No kidding. I'm just saying. I remember asking, speaking of Dad, that is on, when he was a sheriff, I'd asked him, so it was a question about a speeding ticket. Like, how much is a first speeding ticket, or like 11 over or something? He goes, I don't know. I'm like, aren't you supposed to know this stuff? He's like, I'm a sheriff. Like, I don't go pulling over speeders very often, so the laws have changed over the years. I don't remember. I got a book that tells me, so in the event that it happens, I open my book and I see what it is, but didn't know off the top of his head.
There is some rules on that, but you'd have to look that up. The internet's a wonderful thing. Off of the right of way, that's a good that. And yes, you're right. Trespassing property lines are always problematic because someone always has hurt feelings and they expect you to solve their hurt feelings, and that's not what we can do sometimes. But anyway, so I don't know about that. There is signage requirements though that you have to follow on that, and I can figure that out if you really need to. But I don't know that off the top of my head.
Yeah, I'll send you his personal cell phone number. I'll post that after this show, and then everyone you all can start texting him. So, Governor Evers, I put it up this morning. It was actually announced on Friday, but I waited till this morning to put it up just because I knew we were going to talk about the show. So here's kind of the gist. Governor Evers' proposal, and this is not a Republican versus Democrat thing. This is not a do we like Governor Evers or his proposal. I just want to talk about what it is that his budget, in his proposal for his budget, included, and that would require that courts order the use of an ignition interlock device, or an IID, for all offenses involving the use of alcohol and operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated, so OWI, including first-time offenders in Wisconsin. I wanted to kind of pick your brain on that from a law enforcement standpoint. You and I have talked many times on the show about that drunk driving is the 100% preventable. And we've talked about having an exit strategy. Make a decision on how you're going to get home before you leave, before you've been drinking, because you're not going to make a good decision. We've talked about it a lot. And we both have been, what can we do to do more? So what are your first thoughts about this? And then I want to ask you some follow-ups here. But your first thought, interlock IIDs for every single offense. It's essentially mandatory.
I haven't read it, so I don't know all the details, but I would say no. Off the top of my head, I don't think that that's worth our time and effort. Only because first offense is a traffic ticket. It's just like getting a speeding ticket. There's no jail through a first offense. And there's been a lot of legislature over the time. We've got to do something with drunk driving. I don't think first offense is the answer. I think there's already interlock device requirements on, I believe, first offense if you have a BAC, or the blood alcohol content, over 0.15. There's other factors that they can do ignition interlock device. But I think we need to look at second and beyond. I think everybody makes mistakes. I think we can learn from them. I think you should be given an opportunity to learn from them. I don't think first offenses should go to county jail. There's been a lot of discussion on that. It would fill up some of our county jails around here. You look at the smaller departments like Sawyer and Rusk and Burnett and things like that. First offenses would fill those jails up.
Which would fill your jails up. So, wait, you should be promoting this. You make all the money off of all the other counties.
We should have that. Our county's going to be just floating in money.
Yeah.
No. So, just off the top of my head, I don't think that that's the answer. I think we don't have a lot of control over ignition interlock devices. The only way that we as law enforcement interact with somebody is if we catch you and you don't have one in your car. No, I know that's part of but that's a risk. It's not like when I see you driving down the road, you don't have your seatbelt on, I can pull you over for that. I don't know going down the road if you have an ignition interlock device in your car, so I can't pull you over for that to see if you're drunk. So I don't think that that's a huge. I'd really like to look at second, third, fourth offense and buckle down on that a little harder than I would the first offense.
So the IIDs, Ignition Interlock Devices, have you had, I don't know, success, I'm just going to use that word, but I don't really know what that looks like. Have you, so it's in use in Barron County right now and in northwest Wisconsin, right? It's already under certain parameters, certain circumstances. From your understanding, is it, when it is being used, it is successful? And I think by successful just means that, I don't know, they don't get more of them later, more OWIs, right?
I think the answer to that is hard to prove because I can't tell you. Prevention is tough to measure.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you if it's working. I can tell you OWIs are still up. We had a slight increase. I know some of our municipalities had an increase. So I don't think IIDs, the way it's working, is the answer right now. Maybe it's a piece of the puzzle. And I think we have that. If you get stopped and you're a 0.15 or above and you're mandated to get an IID, I think they're very expensive. I think you've got to have them in all your cars that are registered to you. It's very difficult to do and monitor all of that for IIDs. And I don't know everything about an IID. So I'm not saying they're not effective because I
another tool in the toolbox, as it were, right?
Another tool. I'm sure it stops some people from doing it because it's a pain in the butt, and I think that works. But to require it in all first offense and above is going to be complicated. A treatment is an answer. I think that's a good point. I think we need to have some more maybe mandatory treatment. Maybe I'd like to see that versus the IID. Instead of putting money into that, maybe you have to go to 3 treatment sessions or something like that. Maybe that's the answer.
What about that? So we're gonna figure it out right now. First offense, since that is still not a felony, right. And it's not even a misdemeanor, right? Just a ticket. Nope. I mean, assuming it's like just a 0.1 or a 0.09, no other mitigating factors. Obviously, you didn't hit and kill anyone, just whatever. Well, if it's not even a misdemeanor, then I don't think the IID should be mandatory. And listen, I kind of feel like this is like gun control, where it's let's limit the number of bullets in a magazine because that will stop shootings. It feels good, but I'm not really sure that's going to, actually stop a lot of those things that are happening. So I like, it feels good. I feel like I want to say yes to all this, but I say if the first offense is still a ticket, then IID shouldn't be on there. Second offense, I say that's when it should be all, you just throw everything regarding diversion programs. Because clearly there's an issue, but we want to get help. And I don't know if that's a misdemeanor or felony, whatever that normally is for a second offense, whatever it currently is, keep it the same way, but just massive treatment and diversion programs, classes, everything you said. Third, there should be like 10 days in jail. It should be mandatory. And I don't know if that is now. I don't think so.
There's a 10-day thing, but it can be
maybe like a 30-day or something. Like third one should be 30-day and then whatever. But then after that, this should be like 6 months, because when we see this 4th, 5th, 6th, and they're just getting a few days in jail and some fines, all right, that's a problem. So I think there should be like a tiered effect, which I think is supposed to be already right now, but it really isn't. Let's face it.
I think the fines should go up to pay for some of that stuff. I know people can't pay fines all the time, but I think your second offense and above, I think you could put some treatment options. You could put some IIDs. You could put some mandatory things in there for second offense and above, and really say, if you're going to get a second offense, you're going to have to pay a lot of money, money
and diversion programs. But I mean, and maybe there's like a time limit between. I mean, if it's a second offense within a year, okay, that should be treated as a third offense. But you could have one like 6 years later. Now it's technically still a second offense, I think, right? Or not?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. So I'm like, okay. I mean, so I think there obviously needs to be some consideration there. But yeah, it needs to go up a little. But after the third offense, there just needs to be like 6 months jail mandatory or something.
What's interesting about this, and we talk about the alcohol industry, is that, the tax on alcohol hasn't gone up since like 1960 something. So
really,
even putting a 1 cent tax on alcohol would pay for all of these programs, because the legislature is controlled by Wisconsin as an alcohol state. So the legislature has a lot of money that gets thrown around at election time on this. So, it's interesting that there isn't many alcohol laws that get passed because of the, when they're down in Madison and people are saying, hey, don't vote for me this. And, we don't need it to be hurt our alcohol industry. And no one wants to hurt our bars and our restaurants.
No. That's not what this is about. 95% of people will drink in a reasonable amount, or if they want more, they're going to have a ride, or they're going to be at home, or whatever. It's just, the idiots.
Right. And so we have to stop that. But it'll be interesting to see that. And, the alcohol tax could be increased and pay for a lot of this stuff.
Yeah. So Dad had put on there Act 27 or 2017, Act 170 requires those convicted of 4 or more within 15 years supposed to lose their license for life. What? That can't be true, Dad. Has this been used by the courts? Yeah, we're gonna have to actually. Well, he must be right. I mean, I don't know.
There's some things about there in your license are supposed to have, but people drive without their license all the time. That's not a deterrent. Yes, she's right. They drive without a license. That's not the deterrent. Your driver's license is a deterrent when you're 16 years old. It's not a deterrent when you're 21, because people just drive without it. The alcohol lobby is the answer here, and it'll be interesting to see how these laws follow up on it. We've got to get stronger, tougher sentences on some of this stuff, but as we talked about with Eric Toney the other day, bail reform is at the forefront right now, and we can't really think about anything else except bail reform. So, which you have to go out and vote in April, a constitutional amendment, first time in a long time we haven't had one.
Is that still on? Because I know that there was as of last week, I haven't seen an update yet, but they're being sued to keep that question off the ballot.
Oh, really?
About bail. Yeah, that was a week ago. Because they didn't follow. I don't remember. I remember who sued and who they're suing, but it was basically the people who brought this forth. I'm assuming the Republicans that they didn't.
That was bipartisan. I mean,
well, whomever it was, but they were saying that they didn't go through. They had to send it to a certain court, and they sent it through the Elections Commission, but it was supposed to go to somebody else at a certain deadline. And they're saying, well, we assume that when it went to WEC or the Elections Commission, then that was all taken care of. So it was I don't know where we are on that one. I'll have to look. But that was like a week ago that it was. I'm not sure if it's going to be on the ballot now in April.
I thought the ballots were printed already, so that'll be interesting. Whether the bad guys of America get together and say, we don't want bail reform, we're suing.
Well, what it was is that they were didn't want it. They felt as though this is going to increase Republican turnout. And that was going to hurt Democrats in the April 4th Supreme Court race. That was the reason they said that the Republicans wanted this to begin with, or this question on the ballot. Because I think the Democrats wanted the question about abortion, and that got shut down. So, yeah, it's just all political, which is stupid. It just is.
Let's try to do some good, but let's stop it to make sure we get person elected into a position. Whatever.
My goodness.
Lance, I'm blurry again.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I am. So
yeah. Well, all right. Well, we'll have to.
I'm just too quick.
What?
I'm too quick. Maybe it's just my camera.
It can't keep up with you. Your camera is like, oh man.
I'm gonna buy a new camera after this one and see.
You're too good looking, I tell you.
Maybe this is an old camera. Maybe it's technology in this camera.
It's not, because it worked fine 6 months ago, or in November, or early November.
Good point. Maybe it got bad. Your computer gets slow and you buy a new one. Maybe this one is just end of life.
I don't think that's how they work, but okay, maybe. Well, maybe I'll start asking some people about that too. I actually called Romaine Quinn this morning, but he didn't answer. He must still be sleeping with his kids. I wanted to get his take so I could share that on the show this morning. And I called the district attorney in Washburn County, Aaron Markov, this morning, but also he didn't get back to me in time. Because I want to know what everybody else kind of thinks about this. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. The IID part, just that one specific part.
It's
like
it will help, but it's not the answer that we're looking for. It's not. I don't want to invest a lot of time and energy into that because I don't think that's quite the answer. But maybe there's some good statistical data out there that someone will share that'll show us that it's great. I don't know, but I don't see it helping Northwest Wisconsin.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Dirk's got the forecast, so it must be time to wrap it up. Rain today and tonight. Highs 30s to low 40s. Tomorrow, rain changing. Oh, snow. Oh, boy, rain and it's going to be sloppy then. Low 20s. Highs warming back up. Middle upper 30s of the week. Oh, nice. So it looks like a little rain, little slush coming up, but then a pleasant weekend.
I see Dirk's roller coaster thing. He called it a roller coaster on Facebook the other day. He's right. It's going to go way up. It was like 50 yesterday. It's going to go down to 0 on Thursday and then back up on Friday and Saturday. But no, a lot of good things going on. Not a lot this weekend. I don't know a lot. I'll be talking at a church on Sunday about.
You're talking what?
I'm talking at church on Sunday at a church about technology in the sheriff's department. They have little learning sessions in between church services. So I'm the speaker at church service this week. Otherwise, should be a pretty quiet weekend.
Out of curiosity, why is the church?
Just they bring in people from the outside and talk between church services and have coffee and just something to do between church service
nice.
and learn. It's like a 20-minute thing. It's pretty neat.
That is cool. So people want to go to that. What church is it?
Bethany Lutheran Church in Rice Lake.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's just and I'll come and give a talk on just about anything. So anytime anybody needs a talk, and we'll do it. So otherwise, what are you doing this weekend upcoming? Anything?
I have no idea. I just remember this morning I was doing the headlines and it's Valentine's Day. And I was like, no. So I kind of only do a couple days ahead at a time. Tomorrow morning, so we had Judge Doro on, the conservative candidate running for Supreme Court last Wednesday. And by the way, that went, I think it's had over like almost 7,000 views on our YouTube channel. So it makes it, just on YouTube, it's the most viewed we've ever had, which is weird. You never really know how some of the shows are going to go and why some go bigger than others. But her conservative opponent in next Tuesday's election, former Justice Dan Kelly, will be on tomorrow morning. He was on once before, but he'll be on tomorrow. And then Kirk Anderson, our friend Kirk, will be doing his second show this Thursday. His live show is about tiny homes, I think. So it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to watch that one. Tiny homes are legit.
I think that's the answer to some of our problems, tiny homes, but they're just tough to get by. And it's just, the city councils and county boards and block some of this stuff. And there needs to be some changes to get these tiny homes up and running, because I think they're the answer to solve some of our alcohol, drugs, homeless problems. So,
well, I'll watch the show on Thursday on Kirk's. It'll be on DrydenWire, but Kirk it's his show that he does on DrydenWire. So then we'll have that to talk about as well. Oh, that's right. Mom and Dad's anniversary, I think, was. Well, that's right. Today, Valentine's, their anniversary, 55 years. So congratulations to Mom and Dad, 55 years of marriage. And I mean, what did Mom say? They've been happily married for 5 years. But they're celebrating the 55-year anniversary. That's a long. I mean, I can't imagine. I'm 46. It just blows my mind, man. 55. How long have you and Holly been married?
23 years this year.
Atta boy. That's nice. I haven't seen Holly in a while.
But she's lucky, so
this
is her Valentine's present.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
All right,
what
man.
else would our little man want? I mean, there's nothing else we can give them.
It's just it. Our charisma.
It's right. Our jokes and our looks, man. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, you're so right. We gotta start wearing shades because the camera just can't handle all of the gorgeous that's just dripping from the screen, Fitzy.
We better end this show.
Sounds good.
Or my comment.
Oh, boy. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you've been watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. With nearly 20 years of experience, this locally owned and operated business has provided quality work both on the inside and on the outside of your home or business. Give Brian a call today, 715-520-2271. Reminder, I'll be chatting with one of the conservative candidates in the Wisconsin Supreme Court race, former Justice Dan Kelly, tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. And on Thursday, please join me in watching this month's episode of The Kirk Anderson Show, with Kirk's special guest being Melissa Jones. We'll be joining him in studio to talk about tiny living in a tiny house community. Fitz and I will see you right back here next Tuesday, where we'll be sharing our election predictions sure to go wrong. So until then, thank you for watching, and as always, have a blessed day.